Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day and it's as beautiful where you are as it is here at my house. I came down to the river today because I haven't been able to get into the water lately. My detector's been broken and I'm just itching to get in the water. So this is as close as I can get today. But for today's daily, I wanted to answer another viewer request. And this one comes from Gene Oliver. He's a longtime subscriber. He comments all the time. Thank you, Gene, for all your support. And he asked, what was the most surprising or maybe unexpected item you've dug? It could be the item itself or the context of where or when you dug it. I know you were excited to get your first creek artillery shell, but that's what you were looking for. So it is not what I am asking about. What made you stop and say, whoa? Well, that's an excellent question, Gene, and something I would have never thought of to answer, so thank you for that question. There's been a lot of things I've found over the years that have made me say whoa and caught me off guard, but possibly one of the best ones I can recall off the top of my head was actually during a trip that I recounted in an earlier dig log where I'd gone to Virginia and found a Spanish silver cob and was disappointed. So if you haven't seen that, check that one out. But at the end of the trip, as I mentioned in the earlier, when I had been looking for Civil War relics the whole trip, I hadn't found any and was pretty disappointed. And my dad and Bob headed on back home, and I had a few extra days, so I decided to stay. And a friend of mine had a house on the water that she was getting ready to sell, and she asked me if I would like to come and metal detect there. So I thought, well, this would be perfect. And I went out, and it was raining. It was pouring rain when I got there. So we sat and she had a cup of coffee and we talked for a while, and finally I got up the courage to go out in the rain, and I got out a shower cap I had gotten from the hotel the night before, and I wrapped it over my Nautilus metal detector. I went out into the field, and it wasn't a huge field, but it was big enough to keep me occupied for a couple hours. And I walked the edge of the field and I made zigzags back towards the house. And I wasn't finding anything. I found a bunch of shotgun shells and some aluminum cans, your standard metal detecting fodder. And I was kind of getting dejected. It had been about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I was starting to make my way back towards the back door. I was going to knock on the door and tell her thank you for having me, but I wasn't having any real success. And as I was hunting on my way back to the door, I got a screaming signal on my Nautilus. I dug down through the muddy, sandy earth there, and about 8 inches down, out popped this beautiful eagle breastplate. And I was completely shocked. I had no expectations of finding anything at that point in the day, let alone an eagle breastplate. And I dug, filled back in my hole, and I searched all around the area, didn't find anything else. I went to the back door and I knocked on the door and came inside and I showed it to my friend. We rinsed it off in the sink, and we were both just amazed at the condition of this piece and that it was there. We both were wondering, how had this one Civil War relic gotten into the yard there, and yet there were no other relics. So it was a great conversation. I asked her if she wanted it. She was like, oh, it's just junk to me, you take it. So I came home with an amazing, beautiful eagle breastplate where I was beyond shocked. I had no clue it would be there, and it was certainly the most pleasant surprise I can remember ever getting out metal detecting. So thank you for the question. It was a great question, Gene. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try and get to some other of the requests, maybe in one big dig log with viewer requests. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little episode today. I hope you get out and do some adventuring. I'll see you tomorrow.